So, welcome to the CMPC Analysis 101 panel. So this year, rather than doing a general Q&A, I thought we could all cover basic topics that maybe we think that new analysts could learn from. So I talked to Silverquote from Pannel, and he had some topics in mind. So we'll start with Silverquote.
Oh, you're going to start with me? Yes. Yes, I am the alpha and the beta. That's about it. I didn't get much further.
I wonder how many crystals
I killed
you
Silverquote. That joke was so bad it killed my plushie. But when I started doing reviews, I had no basic idea of what I was doing. I had worked as a video editor, so the technical aspect was there, but it's more than just stringing a bunch of pictures together or playing a bunch of clips. In fact, if you rely only on clips, you're going to get hit with a copyright strike, like bingo.
Oh, that robot is the worst.
So I looked at the critics that I enjoyed watching. I looked at the Nostalgia Critic, I looked at Angry Joe, Noah Eckwerler, Linkara.
Ah, yes, on top of the fourth wall.
On top of the fourth wall. And then I also looked at Brony reviewers that were big at the time. I think, oh gosh, who was it's not Digibro or Brony Curious. There was another one.
Oliver?
No.
Anthony C.
Anthony C. I enjoyed Anthony. But there was another one, Paleo Steno.
Oh.
That's the fellow, Paleo. So I watched their videos and I saw what was the going theme. And that's really the best thing you can do before you start reviewing is recognize what you like in other people's work. What style appeals to you? What really connects and gets you invested that you want to hear someone else's opinion or presentation. Because that's the first step. If you take stock of what you enjoy, you'll know better what to present. And then I took stock of what I know from my own education. I knew Photoshop and Illustrator, so I could make my own OC. But that is also how I chose to go with a non-pony because everyone else had Ziponi. I knew I wouldn't stand out at all if I just was another four-hoofed entity.
Well, granted, you're still two hoofs, so I guess it counts for something.
It's got to count for something, you know. I'm still part of the Brony Dub. Woot woot. But I found that one of the best things to do as a starter reviewer is to celebrate what's great in other people. When you honor people who put forth good ideas. I have often referenced the people at this very panel when talking about ideas. I will be talking about Firebrand's views on Scootaloo's Change when I get to Crusaders of the Lost Mark. And also recognizing people who are talented artists, people who create great music, because those are people to try and show your best to say, hey, can we work together? Does this appeal to you? So many people say, will you help me do my first review? Well, I haven't seen your best yet. I haven't seen anything. You're asking me to take a terrible leap of faith. But if you have something to show, if you just put your best out there, you'd be amazed at how that attracts other people. That's a start, anyway.
Yeah. And so something that comes to mind for me is there are a lot of people who decide just out of the blue, without any prior experience with video editing or Photoshop or vectoring, just, I want to be an MLP analyst. So they don't have the background to just immediately start making videos, and that delays them because they have this bar of perfection in their mind. If you really want to make MLP analysis videos, find a way that you can make it and make it. Don't wait until you have the OC poses or until you have the perfect backgrounds and layout. Just like start working on it so that you can learn the tools that you have available to you rather than just waiting until you can make the perfect video.
Yeah, I'm going to echo off of that. When it comes to what we do, it's not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of time and preparation that comes down, whether it goes to the writing process or especially the editing process.
Of course, why does it take Anthony C's like about 7 months to create just one review?
That's true.
Anthony he's constantly in pursuit of the perfect timing, the perfect joke, the perfect delivery. It takes that long because he is meticulous in all stages, in writing, in editing, in getting animations, so...
Very eccentric he is.
He's a blue person, but it's quality instead of rapid fire. Some folks Dr. Wolf excels at getting a review out the day of the video, and it's very articulate.
I'm still
I
convinced he's a
found
ton.
what I can be strong at, because I cannot for the life of me match the editing skills of many of these other guys here. I can't go into minute detail and come up with a topic that no one else is going to talk about. However, I can gather my thoughts and edit everything together and get talking about the subject when it's still fresh on people's minds, when they want to continue the conversation in the comments below. That is something I can be strong at.
Okay.
Does anyone else here have an idea to bring up?
Well, let's. I do want to talk one thing that I bemoan in the reviewer community is that with a lot of folks who have tried to enter, they've tried to make a name by attacking other reviewers. And I don't mean just saying I disagree with your opinion. It's that this opinion is dumb and you're dumb for having it.
Basically, you are objectively wrong.
People want to take a more extreme approach, I think, and that's not the best way. That's a way to get attention, but that's not the way to get the attention.
That's just.
I think,
it's also
Wait, that's
again,
much more.
Yeah.
I think one of my friends made a very good quote. He's one of my editors, and he made a very good quote. It's like, we can debate the merits of punching up versus punching down, but why punch anyone in the first place?
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think making drama videos in the analysis community is probably not the best idea, but
They say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but if you're mostly known for being just a terrible
if
person.
you have an image, they will go after it. But
Hi, CNN.
I was about to say hi TMZ, but you know that works
Hi,
too.
Keemstar. Hi, VP.
TMZ. Where's the
I
backup?
think-
We're important.
I think
We
what-
actually create good media.
I think what's important, this is what I always tell people when it comes to their work. I think the best thing to do is always to come up with something unique. I think it's coming up with the persona and having the charisma to back it up. Like, you've heard me say this like a million times. Like, I think the most important thing is to engage your audience. Be engaging, be energetic, be charismatic, have people want to listen to you, you know? Because if you just spend the entire thing, like I said, like, hello, my name is Student Critic. I would like to talk about today's episode. Twilight was good. Yes, indeed. That is all I have to say.
Dude,
Like,
you're
that
getting
is
the
so
same note.
dry. It is drier than, like, there's so many things around you. Like, you know how
I want
humid
to
it
talk
is.
to you about Twilight Sparkle, yes. I have all these great
It's drier than this heat we're going through right now.
Exactly, yes. You don't be dry. Don't be boring, because no one is going to care. That's simple right there. You engage people. If you give them a reason to listen to you, they will listen to you. That's pretty important, I would say.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off of that, one other thing that I've learned while, I mean, granted, I'm not really a reviewer by trade, I just do it on occasion. But one thing I have learned is to, like what Toon said, be respectful of others' opinions, because even though you may disagree, that itself can be a good content, but not be at each other's throats half the time. And also something else that you said earlier, yeah, it is important to have a resume of your own work.
Yes.
If you want to just start out immediately by doing collabs, more than 99% of the time people will ask you, can I see samples of your work first? Because they'll want to know if you're a good enough person to bounce off of. So
take risks. It's a risk that
It
a
is a
collaborator
risk.
that is taking with you. So you don't want to. It's like you want to say like I'm a good investment, and that's how it goes in the real world. It's like whenever you're trying to get a job, it's like you want to make the employer say, you know what, this guy right here, this silver quill right here, he's a good investment.
That's how it was, I think, for a lot of us. Like, I think both you and I, like when we did our first collab, it was only the second collab you ever did. And for me, it was like I had already done a few collabs, but we
I think
both
it was like
like
there
sort
were
of
6 or 7
something
at that
like
point.
that. Yeah, we both took a bit of a risk there.
But even then, you actually did a bit of reviewing before actually coming out with your pony Sona.
That's true, I did. So you were saying.
Oh, no.
that's there.
I kind of laughed. His review was the collab was the second we did, and this was before I knew about Google Docs. I learned that from Josh in my third collab. So Toon was kind of to email the same document back and forth between us, adding on. I mean, it was not the most efficient way.
But it got done nonetheless. So.
But still, going back to a previous topic about. Okay, so who here reads the MLP comics? Who here remembers that one comic with a certain very, very bad critic?
Oh, yes, the Micro Fluttershy
Yeah,
comic.
here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're right. You very well could be right. But if you're a jerk when you say it, no one's going to want to listen to you.
You won't be taken seriously.
Or they'll want to listen to you, but only because they already agree and they mistake cruelty for strength.
That too.
They're mistaking cruelty for strength, and they mistake stating things with finality as intelligence.
There's constructive criticism, and then there's just being a jerk. So that's the way I.
But that's the thing. It's that this can be a difficult. Can be a difficult hobby because I'm going to be honest. A lot of times with me, I take criticism personally. So, and I'm going to be honest. It's hard for me to accept that I was wrong about something, and yeah, it's something I struggle with. But I tried, and I fail.
We're human. We're real. We make mistakes.
Yeah. The important thing is like when someone makes mistakes, like especially in our friend and like the circle, but even with anyone, is just if someone makes a mistake, it's important to point it out, but it's also equally as important to be forgiving.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
What next?
What else?
Doc, did you have a topic you wanted to go with?
I'm trying to remember the name of the episode. What was where Pinkie Pie and Rarity were summoned to Canterlot to help get a restaurant?
Oh, spice up your life.
Spice
Yeah.
Spice up your life.
The critic in that episode, it got to a point where so much of Canterlot society believed in the word of this one critic that no one dared try to do anything different.
Yeah, the old debate of, taking one critic's critique as fact and that it shouldn't be questioned.
But it goes a little
that's
bit
a
further. I have no doubt that this one critic believes that the dish she was insisting everybody think is the greatest thing in the world, she really thinks is the greatest thing in the world. And yet at the same time, she was so completely dismissive of anyone else trying to do anything except what she thought was the greatest thing in the world.
Who here likes barbecue sauce?
I kind of like a barbecue.
I despise it.
Oh, okay.
I cannot stand barbecue sauce.
Same.
But thing is, it's like everyone just eats it and everyone loves it. And why? What kind of person would I be to say, hey, don't eat barbecue sauce, it's garbage?
Say that to some people on the 4th of July, then we'll see what happens. We'll see how that
4th of
goes.
July
See
in
if you make it
Texas.
out alive.
Say that to
Yeah,
my
exactly.
son- brother.
Because that's what I really believe. I believe barbecue sauce is garbage, but hey.
What's your feelings on A1? Steak sauce. I've got him in check.
I don't think I've ever tried that.
No, same.
Ooh, we are going to have such fun.
So yeah, it's not really check, more stalemate.
Well, either way, going back to that, it's a lot of what's talked about in reviews. Most of the time, we just say, your opinion on an episode, it's all around subjective. It's all around how certain people view it. Like take me for instance. My personal most hated episode is the cutie remark. I find too many flaws with it for me to enjoy it, yet there are a lot of people that claim it to be absolutely stunning, like one of the best season finales ever. I may not understand why, but I'm not going to cry persecution and say, it's like, hey, why are you thinking this way? Are you an idiot? And stuff like that. That's
Angry Joe liked Man of Steel. Nostalgia Critic didn't.
that's perfect. Another perfect example.
This is something I think we also need to make clear. I mean, we don't need to, but I think we should make it clear anyway. We are not the defining voices of what you should like and what you should not like.
So please don't treat us as so.
Please, we may have our opinions. If we may agree to disagree, don't fight in the comments saying, "Well, Josh said, but Toon said, but Silver
please,
said."
please,
Like,
please,
we
no.
are not these
Poison.
huge or famous analysts that people tend to make us out to be. At least for people looking on the outside, we have opinions, yes, but we are not the end-all, be-all truth. Because
We're
there's no truth.
we're just louder and funnier than everyone else.
Oh, I'm
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that do treat us like we're a hierarchy, that we are, by definition, the smartest people in the fandom, and
No, we're just better at sounding. We're just better at pretending
we may talk big, but sometimes what we say, most of the time, it should be taken with a grain of salt.
Exactly. Like,
Or a tumbler of brandy, which I wish I had.
we can make jokes about it, but like we said, at the end of the day, we are not like the end-all, be-all truth to these episodes. We're just having fun with these. Like, we like to talk about them. We like to debate about them. We like a good friendly debate every now and then. But do we lose friendships over episodes? No. Do we have big disagreements and very loud fights? Yes. But
We do even have occasional trolling sessions. Hello, our roundtable is magic. How I
where?
It's also
that was
Flash
fun.
earlier.
It was.
Yeah, Quick Flash earlier. But it actually reminds me of this other example from the Nostalgia Critics review of The Grinch. He himself really dislikes the Jim Carrey Grinch.
No, he's wrong.
I kind of like
Yeah,
Grinch, but I get it.
Now you're
I really
just,
get it.
Now you're being a jerk.
Yeah, I know.
But a majority of people really do love it, and there's this one thing that is said near the end. It's like, we may have disagreements, but it's how we can learn about other people. Like, it can really spark intellectual debates. It's like, okay, like, why do you think this is the worst thing ever? Or why do you think this is the greatest thing ever? Like, I regularly have these sort of debates with Keyframe over
Starlight.
say, Starlight Glimmer.
Starlight. And you can never mention Starlight around this man. It's his trigger word at this point.
He's gotten better.
I will test that.
Yeah, I will.
Hang on. Silver wants to test that.
Oh,
Let's see.
so, Starlight, Starbright, first Starlight that's on the show tonight. Wish I may, wish I might. Are you mad? You want to fight?
That's actually pretty good.
I will give you that. That is clever. I am not
That's very
triggered.
good.
He's not triggered before Josh is dead. Josh, are you dead? Are you dead? I'm part vulture.
No. He seemed to have kaboomed you without any actual combustion. Except in his mind. His mind blew a fuse.
The steam coming out of his ears is either anger or mind blown.
But yeah, it's these kind of debates. Like, I remember a couple years ago, we really had this deep debate about Starlight Glimmer between me and Keyframe. And while I still may not understand her reasonings why she thinks it's her second favorite character next to, like, Pinkie Pie, I mean, at least she still respects my reasoning and I still respect hers. And that's what it all comes down to in the end, just respect.
Yeah, and here's an attitude that I feel like it's been lost nowadays. It's an attitude of I don't get it, and that's okay.
There you go, yeah.
It's like a lot of people. It's like they feel a lot of people I know feel this need to understand everything, and it's like if I don't get it, well, then that's on someone else. Or if I don't get, it's like everything can be understood, everything should be understood, and I don't feel that's possible.
It can't be, because you can try to understand everyone's perspectives, but at the end of the day, like, there's always going to be conflict. No one's ever going to completely agree on something, because if we all agreed on the same thing every single time, we'd all be the same, and there would be nothing unique about us.
Yeah, we'd all be eating that extremely fancy, tiny dinner whose handle on restaurant.
Exactly.
There you go, yeah.
Do you want us to become that? Like, no.
Yeah, here's and differences are great and different surprises are great because you don't want someone you don't want an opinion that you can fully understand because gonna go a little weird here, but my parents, they have been married for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And they And my dad keeps telling me about how his wife still surprises him.
That's good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if you want, because that's a marriage that is full of life, full of discovery, full of mystery, and that's something they can share with each other. And you don't want something that you can understand, because if you can understand it, well, then that makes it you'll take it for granted.
That makes sense.
I saw.
I wanted to just throw in a comment if that's okay.
Sure.
You're talking about disagreement on like I don't understand it, but I get it. I'm more with Silver on I like Luna more, but and I'm also a subscriber of you, and you did about Celestia, but I understand why you prefer Celestia over Luna, and I understand why Silver likes Luna more than Celestia. I'm able to understand it, and I see both sides, but I disagree with one, and I'm not going to go into the comments and be like, oh, Josh is wrong, and I'm not going to be the whole keyboard warrior thing.
Yeah. And also, don't be passive aggressive. Okay, yeah, another
Yeah.
big thing. Don't be passive aggressive. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like. Here's the thing. A lot of people, it's like just some people say this when they're stupid, or some people say this, and this idea is something that just completely doesn't hold up under scrutiny. It's like, do not be passive aggressive, or don't even be aggressive.
How about
yeah.
on top of that? How about on top of that? Don't be passive aggressive. Don't be aggressive. Don't be condescending either.
Yeah, because being passive aggressive and being condescending, you're being a jerk. And being aggressive, you're still being a jerk. It's a different way of being a jerk. So just don't do it.
Although I will say, if you go into the comment section and type like this, it's not going to be a very good comment, because I do not. Doctor, have you tried typing like this?
Only occasionally.
If I may add on to that, going like, being a jerk, there are some ways that you can actually make it work, but only if it's for entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah.
Like there's actually, I might as well say this now, there's going to be an upcoming collab with myself and Voice of Reason about how we can possibly fix Starlight. And sure, it starts off with me just screaming hate, but that's more done because I do it in an exaggerative way that's meant to be over the top. That's meant to give a good laugh, and we sort of build up on that, and then we actually get into the meat of the review. I explain my reasonings and how we could possibly fix it so that, say, her reformation can be a little more natural. So,
but you're just hating on Starlight, Will.
Well, again, like some people, like if they choose to not see the obvious joke as a joke, that's their prerogative. That's not ours.
Exactly.
We're just, in the end of the day, we're entertainers and we're just expressing our opinions. Some people choose to see us as fact or as a hierarchy, which...
And that's something we can't control.
That's completely out of our hands.
Yeah.
We just go along with it.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that a lot of times we do get wrapped around the axle, like not only in Brony analysis, but in real life. It's like a lot of times we just get wrapped over the axle over things that we just cannot control. And oh heavens, do we want to control it? We very much do, but a lot of times it's like someone's opinions or something someone said about you. It's you cannot control it, and I struggle with this, but I struggle to not let it dominate me. But
we honestly cannot do crowd control.
We can't at this point. Like we've gotten to the point where we have like a much bigger fan base than we did a year ago, and with that comes not only a lot of new faces, but it also comes the possibility for conflict. And it's more so you shouldn't have to watch what you say to the point where you're constantly trying to predict what the comments or your fans are going to think. You just have to be natural. You just have to go with what you think is right, what you want to say, and that's your opinion. If people in the comments try to say that you're wrong, that's them. You're making videos because you're putting your thoughts out there. It's not their thoughts, it's your thoughts.
It kind of actually goes back to, like, say, Josh, your moment with Dr. Wolf on anger management. They will choose how they think, feel, and react and they can control how you think, feel, and react. They can be influenced to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, it's their respective choice.
If I punch Silver Quill in the face, that's my choice.
If I choose to make a joke before you do it, cause an effect.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like many times I want to punch this guy in his semi-perfect tooth.
I think upon semi-perfect. I did not do braces for semi-perfect.
You're a 6, just a solid 6.
I was hoping at least be a K9.
I can't.
I am going to get punched in the face. He's flexing his hand. He's flexing his hand.
Calm blue ocean, calm blue ocean.
There are times where, like with Will, for example, I want to smack him upside the head too because he's so loud. Good lord!
I can't help it. I was born with a naturally loud voice, and I can't control that.
I was gonna say something.
I try to, but
This is where we all vent our frustrations with one another.
Although, kind of related, it seems like we're talking a lot about not having. We're discouraging from having unproductive conversations. But I think that it is healthy to consider maybe what the comments may say.
Oh, of course,
if
yeah.
it furthers the point that you're trying to make. Like Looney as a character was introduced to my videos because when I'm writing, I constantly think, oh, what if someone says this? And I made Looney to be that interactive narrator.
so that you can have a metaphorical someone to bounce off of.
Yeah, and
I tried that once. I tried that several times. I made like several straw men, and people keep calling me out on it. So I said it's a straw man.
I tried that. His name's Cartoons. So.
So our friend Sketchy the Changeling, he has his cousin Kevin, who often voices sort of the dissenting opinion.
yeah. So it's good to have the dissenting opinion in mind, and a possible way that it's nice to explore some answers to the questions that may be brought up.
Yeah, and that's one of the, honestly, it's like people like to say, it's like why does the analysis community collab so much?
Because we have fun.
Not only because we have fun, but because we kind of need that second opinion. Because we're expecting like, am I missing something about this episode? Maybe I should bring someone on who has a different opinion so we can get a discussion going in the video.
And have both sides of the spectrum on a certain
It's
time.
always good to have that. That's why
Kind of
we
like
do
a
collabs.
Tomb
to
Credit
have a
with Josh
balance.
Scorch on Newbie Dash, for example.
Oh, and when it comes to collabs, you you learn new things from them, and also at the same time you might gain assets that you may not have otherwise had. Like the past few collabs that I've had, I contributed to the other person's channel in some way. Like when I collabed with Toon Critic, I made a couple of poses because it went with the joke, where he's holding pieces of paper, and he's actually used those assets in future videos.
Yeah. With everybody that I've collabed with here, I always find some fun way to like think of how they've implemented like their techniques onto me. I've learned something from them. Looney, I've learned how to, I think, step up my game a little bit in terms of comedy. Will has taught me to be a lot more charismatic and a little bit more goofy, I think, and to let myself go a little bit, which has not been my strongest suit, but I hang around him and Jasper Pie so much that I'm just like, it just...
remember in your
big
earlier
personalities.
days,
Yes.
Yeah, like in your earlier days, I'm sorry to admit, but you were such a wuss back then.
You know,
He was a wuss.
We're gonna give them their personality.
It's true. I did not really have, like, I was a stick in the mud. I was the straight man. I was like, oh, yeah, ooh. But they taught me how to be more open. Silver taught me how to embrace myself, basically. Know that, with the whole punching bag and all the jokes that get made at you, embrace it. Just work with that.
Right.
It's like,
Josh,
like it goes back to a thing you always say. Life is a stage. So pratfall, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Josh taught me how to be more logical and how to deeper analyze stuff. And I
did?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But did he teach you how to take things too seriously?
Yes, that too. He did.
Look out, there's a runaway.
You can withstand the punishment.
Doctor, you've done more collabs than any of us.
Oh, I learned a lot from Doc.
Oh, wow.
I'm willing to make that bet right now.
Like I think you've done like almost 100. Like the moments with Dr. Wolf you've done, I think you did almost borderline 100 with like 100 different individuals.
I don't know. Josh has at least 5 of those, if not 6. Silver has 2. June has
3.
3.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, I've done several dozen different people, but looking at the total videos on the list, it's a little misleading.
Do you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
think you
Alright,
could just
fair
get like a side podcast? All right, we're here for the Dr. Wolf collaboration contest. Let's see what the scoreboard ranks. We've got Joshua Burner with 5. We've got Toon Prick with 3. Silver Quill trailing behind with me 2. Let's see what they've got on the board today.
Oh no, they're gonna collab all at the same time!
And the crowd goes wild. Go! La, 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 la,
No,
la.
actually, Doc is helping.
No, we
a lot.
already do that on a sort of consistent basis with TF2. Remember?
If I may, I was trying to say, like, Doc, you've helped me on a more personal level. You've taught me how to look at deeper parts of myself. So while these guys have helped me with content creation, you've helped on a more personal level. So that's really helped improve my content as well. I think we've all learned something from Doc at this point.
Yeah.
I learned something from the characters from the show. I mean, particularly with Luna's therapy visit came out a few months back. It was more about learning and teaching each other.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've drawn from the show myself. And I'm hoping people take inspiration from it. I really do.
Yeah, they do.
I think one reason that the reason that I became a Brony reviewer in the first place was because I just had an opinion that I wanted to share. I just had an opinion and I had no one to talk to about it, and I just wanted to share it. And yeah, that's usually how it went. I just wanted to make a couple jokes, but soon it just kind of progressed into something else, because I got a couple of people like coming up to me, and I've noticed that a couple of people have come up to all of us and said things about how our reviews have helped them. Our reviews have made them feel better when they were feeling down, like when they were in the hospital or when they were struggling with depression or thoughts of suicide.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people that did that, and that's kind of where my motivation shifted.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. I do get I have received some criticism about whether or not about the worth of this. It's because the show is funny too, and what's the point of doing these if they're, and it's a valid point, because I'm going to be honest, my reviews aren't the most intelligent. They're not the most enriching things out there. I do try to implement that as best I can, but I'm not as smart as this guy.
I'm good at sounding smart. That's the thing.
I'm not as well read as this guy. And the thing is, if the show were enough to help these people, if the show were enough to entertain these people, if the show were enough to keep these people's spirits uplifted, then why would they come to us with these stories?
Because they like our personalities, because of the way we present ourselves to them. They want to see us not just for the reviews, but they want to see us. We could chat about, hey, so what's your favorite flavor of chips? And then we could just rattle on about that for like a good half hour. But people would be entertained.
And plus, too, I think bouncing off of that, they seem to come to us more. I mean, no disrespect on them, but I think they may see us as a little more approachable than actual show staff, because, they're busy, they have contracts, they have their own stuff they got to do. They are very busy individuals. They may see us as maybe a little more approachable because, sure, we're all as human as much as the next person.
They don't charge like $30 just to talk to us, so maybe.
Well, everybody, they have to eat as well, so we can't really,
I know.
We can't really bug them on
I'm
that,
not bugging
so.
them for that. I'm just stating that we don't charge.
And
It's how the audience perceives us. Like we said, we can't control it. It's how they choose to view us.
Actually, that kind of makes me think of ego to a degree.
Ego, you say? No, I'm kidding.
That makes
I'm
me think of audience's perception of the individual there. No, it's not. That's not that word.
I think you have to have a healthy ego.
Yeah.
Say, I have something to say and I think it's worth saying. I have a voice. go and do. That's
Well-
motivation, ego. I'm the smartest person in the room, and you all need to realize that.
Actually, I'm curious. How about we go down and like say how we think the audience perceives us? Like, what impression do we get from the audience? Like, let's start with Doc. What do you think? Like, well, how do you think your audience perceives you? Well, that's a good start. That's what I think.
Honestly, I don't know how my audience perceives. I know they
The
see me
impression
as
that
just
you get from them. Basically.
What?
The impression that you get from them.
well. I've spoken with a lot of fans, and they seem like I'm just someone who makes them laugh, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making people happy. Just ties into my new motivation of why I make videos. And yeah, it's like no disrespect to the people who make intelligent videos. I love seeing intelligent videos, but I don't like when those are treated like those are the only things that are worth.
That's not all the analysis community is, those types of things. So much more to that. Solar?
I am proof that natural selection has some holes in it. My hope is people see me as someone approachable who can talk about things in a friendly and fun way, but still offer something to contribute while having a good laugh.
I guess the impression that I get from my audience is that someone who's who's edgy, who's charismatic, who is a good source of laughter, I guess, when it comes to certain things. Advocates for like talking about depression and LGBT and all that.
Bullying.
Yeah, and bullying too. It's interesting. I guess it's so many different things piled up that I don't want to go through the entire list, but it's a lot more than I expected from what I gathered. What about you?
That's kind of a tough, but I do know like some people have approached me like by saying like yeah, they do see me as a source of entertainment, and if I'm able to make them laugh or maybe make them think a little bit, then I'm okay with that. But then there are some people to go out of the way to say that you really have inspired me. Like for me, it's not really so much reviewing, but you know, with my acting. Like I remember, sometimes I would get approached either through like a direct message online or in person at conventions that because I put a lot of my heart and soul into my work, they see that and they're kind of inspired to sort of follow the passion I have and sort of want to be just like me. And in a sense, I am thankful for that, but at the same time, it does worry me a little. So it's like I don't want you to become a carbon copy of me. Just you can take influence from me. I'm perfectly fine with that, but still, just be yourself.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
There you go. So, yeah, the way I see it, I mean, I adore my audience. If they see me as a source of entertainment, then by all means, that's fine with me.
Ideally, I'd just like my audience to perceive me as an approachable and forgiving person, but in reality, it's kind of a mixed bag. There are some people who believe, oh, how can I get a hold of him? And it's relatively easy. And then there's others that just enjoy my content and laugh, even though I don't know how comedic my videos really are.
That's why I like reaction videos. It's very easy to take a dump on reactors and reaction videos, but as a creator, I find those invaluable because you just look at what they're watching. It's like, oh, they like this joke. Oh, they didn't really laugh too much at that joke. Or even reaction videos for other content creators. I take notes. I take notes of what people liked and what people didn't like.
That's very important. I think you should always take notes of like what your audience likes and doesn't like, because then that way you can work on like bits that they like. And then I think it's interesting because I remember this from a documentary I watched a long time ago, a very important piece of advice that I got. Hide the negatives, accentuate the positives. That I think is that's something I think that not a lot of reviewers I see today do.
Yeah, as much as a lot of people like to prattle on about how, YouTube comments, they're a whole bunch of nonsense, you should never read them. No, I say you should read them. Because, out of the couple, like yeah, you're gonna get some spam comments and you're gonna say people, it's like, oh, this sucks, nah. you can act, if someone actually takes the time to write about something and really express what they like and didn't like, and like either through a comment or reaction video, that I agree with Josh. That's definitely something that you can take with you to try and improve yourself and make your next project even better than the last.
I have time to read a comment, but I don't have time to read an essay that's as long as this. So
Yeah.
something
And
like
I
that.
actually also like I like this type of video, but I don't see it very often. Response videos. Like, you see someone else's video and make a response.
Or
like,
commentary videos.
Yeah, like comment.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't. It's difficult to do those ones. Manga Common, he does a very good job.
Yeah.
I love manga stuff. Like it's commentary is a fine art. It's a very fine art that I don't think everyone can do. I say that because I probably can't do it. But it's interesting to see how all that plays out, because there's so many jokes that you can make, there's so many comments that you can make, there's so much that you can do with it, but it's a little overwhelming, I think, especially given a long video. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like a commentary video is easy to do, but it is difficult to do well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and final topic that I want to kind of touch on, because we have about 15,
Like about almost 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
Sure.
A final topic, kind of writing videos. Like, is there anything that you've noticed about writing that you've changed over the years, or things like that? One of the things that I've noticed in other people's videos that I didn't like is summarization. They take an episode and they pretty much summarize it with one or two comments, rather than in a full analysis or a review where they express their full thoughts on the episode.
It's interesting because I can see like a 5-minute video and like 2.5 minutes is summarizing the episode, and then it's like the review. No. We've seen the episode. Get to the point. Chop. You got this.
Yeah, I've actually learned that, at least for me personally, I tend to work better when I outline my thoughts. Like, usually, like, with me, I always like say if I'm reviewing an episode, I always like to watch it multiple times. The first one is just mind blank, just going on my first impressions, and then I watch it again with a little more critical head, and then as I'm watching it, I take down notes and say, it's like, okay, maybe I missed this the first time, or maybe I could expand upon this now that I've watched it again and now fully know the context about something. And I mean, I do that all the time whenever I'm participating in Analyst Bronies React. Like, sometimes first impressions, they can be a little muddy unless you watch it again and sort of polish it a little bit.
Do you want to know my secret? I do almost everything unscripted. And yet it sounds like it's scripted. I practiced improv and ad-libs since 6th grade up until now, and still going strong with it. I just give myself a few bullet points to work off of, and then I just connect it from there. That also means that's a lot of audio editing, but when you get it down and you pick the best bits, it sounds like it's scripted. So that's my secret.
Yeah, well, it can work for some people, and other times, like for me personally, I work better with the script because, like, sometimes, as much as I'm a good voice actor, I stutter a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Audio editing is your friend.
Actually, be said about a couple of the panelists, because through this entire panel, I've stuttered, you stuttered.
Yeah,
You just
I stutter.
Do you right now?
No, just
Silver, do you stutter?
So it's honestly better to watch multiple times, get an outline, and like
Your first take is never perfect.
don't
Yeah,
trust. That is
It is
very,
not.
very rare.
Actually,
will ever be a good
Have you
person.
ever gotten a perfect first try?
Funny you say that.
Oh boy.
When we were recording lines for Questria, Anthony was managing the project. He was actually with me in a Skype call as I was recording.
Oh, he was directing you.
He was directing me. He gave me a lot of coaching. He said, "Yeah, I'm going with all Silver's first takes." What?
Really?
You go with my first takes? My first takes are awful.
That's the point.
That's usually, but no, apparently lightning struck, not lightning bliss. She'll strike me when I've shipped her with Flash Sentry later.
I love it, that podcast that gets that going.
But usually, yes, I stutter, I fumble around words. I think that what I should learn to watch out for is certain word combos, that 3 S-syllable words.
Complicated words combined together, that always throws me off.
Also, another big tip, after you finish writing everything, read it aloud before you record.
You want it to sound natural.
So that way, it's like, okay, I'm saying it out loud, and like, as I'm pretending to record. Maybe I could like change some word arrangements here or there because it sounds like I'm slurring a lot. So I say it's important to read it out loud and pretend you're recording to make sure like it sounds natural, or if there's too many words in a sentence, or where you can put in times to breathe in between.
Actually, regarding that, when I'm writing my scripts, by the time I'm done, I've probably read it 50 times. Because as I'm writing, I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? And then I just start reading the rest of it. And then once I get back to that, I can continue, because I like the trail of thought to continue.
Like it can also serve as
sometimes I just lose that.
Like it can serve as a memory refresher sometimes.
Yeah, and it also makes it so that I have a better first take, because I've read it over and over again. I know this script.
I will say, I think I've gone a different direction than you guys. When I started, I really was giving more just initial impressions and talking about it. Along the line, now I am going through the story a bit more linearly, at least, and offering my thoughts. I hope it's not total summarization, but it's more going through it piece by piece. The biggest thing I learned is stop. I'm not Yahtzee from 0 punctuation. There's no way I could read my scripts that fast.
If you could, man.
Stop it.
I could, but I'm not going to take your shtick.
I tried and realized.
You could probably do that if you edit everything very tightly, but while you're recording it, no, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I actually tried to do that in some of my early videos. To their detriment, I
It's
think.
like I think with me and script writing, it's like how it's changed from beginning to now is that I have lost all of my confidence in my writing. Is that I second guess myself when writing frequently. So to that end, what I did to fix that was I get second opinions constantly. I frequently show people, it's like, hey, is this good? Hey, is this, because I have no confidence. I may pretend that I do, but I do not.
I'm kind of the same way. I always like to bounce my script off of other people to see if I can get a good joke or something that I missed, or maybe I get a piece of the argument that I should add in, that sort of thing. It's always good to have second opinions. Never go with your first attempt. Always go to others for feedback. Feedback is your friend.
I get people you trust to give proper feedback.
That too.
Yeah.
Because there's one guy I know. I used to throw my scripts at him to get some feedback, but the feedback he gave wasn't very good.
Yeah, the past few times that I got feedback, which hasn't been recent, they pretty much just said, "Oh yeah, looks good," and I'm like,
That.
"Give me something."
Yeah. Can we try that again, but with more oomph to it?
Yeah. With the when it
It
comes
needs
to
to
my
be about
script-
20% cooler.
When it comes to scripting, through the years I've noticed small details that bother me. Repeating the same word like 5 times in the same sentence.
Oh, yeah.
There was one of my early videos where I was talking about the Canterlot Caves, and I'm like, oh, the caves lead into other caves that may possibly lead into other caves, so this is... And I just said caves 3 times in the same sentence. And ever since, every time I notice it, I rewrite that sentence so that it doesn't have to repeat as many words.
Understandable.
And I'm even rewriting my script while I'm recording. It's like, wait, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
How can I say this better? And then I definitely have to take like 5 different tries at a sentence because I'm doing it from memory rather than what's right in front of me.
Yeah, there was this one joke that I wrote, and then when I actually got into the recording process, I'm like, this joke is mean. This is a mean joke. I gotta change it.
Too many memes. Gotta take out some memes in my script.
No, not memes. Meme.
Same thing. Meme.
We're having trouble with those 2 words.
Yeah, we are. We are.
What about you, Doc? How do you go about, script writing and stuff like that?
One thing that I appreciate all of you have talked about, but one thing I don't think anyone has actually mentioned is that when you get a great idea, when it first pops into your head, the longer you wait to execute that great idea, the less the great idea will be great.
Yeah.
Because procrastination will destroy great ideas quicker than anything else.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that's actually really smart. Like,
When you have something, make it work. Don't put it off.
I actually remember there was this one idea that me, Keyframe, and actually Katie over here, we came up with on our way back from PabsCon, and we actually took the time to, record it on our voice memo so that we wouldn't forget about it, because it was a really, really good idea. And then afterwards, we wrote an outline so that way, whenever we approached it at a later time, we would expand on that because it was still fresh in our heads. So yeah, I can actually really agree with that. That's a smart tip.
We've got about 10 minutes. Should we go over to
Yeah,
questions?
let's do
Let's do questions. Also, whose line's over, so we might get some more people.
I know a few people
Yeah, I know
about
some
that.
people.
I just-
Welcome.
I just want to give a quick comment. You the topic that you mentioned of what does your audience think? I'm an audience of all of you. I mean, I actually hadn't heard of you until Thursday. I'm sorry. But one thing that I want to say is because I could give comments and critiques, but earlier I worked for a convention, and most of you know that. But I've always thought that the only way I can approach Silvercliff or Toon Critic or Josh is through official business, or I have to have something that I have to do. I had no confidence in just being like, hey, is there or whatever, creating a casual conversation. It wasn't until I met all you guys in a BravoCon, I was an idiot. I was so stupid. I thought I had to have some super important, legitimate reason to talk to Silver or the others when I could just approach you because you're more people. And it same goes for Gabe, and I don't know about Michelle Creever, but
If I may, I think it's because we've run into situations where we've had some, I guess, bad encounters with some people. So we've kind of set that up as a formality just in case, because some of us are a little paranoid, because we don't want to get roped into things, or we don't want to get, I guess, the wrong impression.
yeah, and that's also a huge fear of mine. It's like, if I approach you the wrong way, if I say the wrong thing, if I do the wrong thing, then I could just blow the opportunity to get to know someone right now.
It takes a lot to mess up in front of things.
I can share. This really is still one of my favorite convention moments in all of my coroniness.
Really.
BabsCon 2014? It was a while ago.
It was a good year.
It was a good year. The harvest was bountiful. Dr. Wolf and I were hanging out, and this fellow approaches, shakes out Dr. Wolf and says, I love your videos. I've watched all of them, and I watched them again and again, and they're so great. And Dr. Wolf in his generosity said, yes, and this is Silverquill. Oh, hey, how's it going? Dr. Wolf, I love you so much.
Oh wow.
I had that happen to me one time too, and I'm just like, oh,
Just like,
okay.
there you go. There's the pride check.
I guess I'm not as popular as I thought.
That's one thing. That's one difficult thing about being a reviewer is that keeping your ego in check is a challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
It very much is, because the thing is, people assume that we crave the spotlight and we must demand it and we must have it. Well, doesn't anybody want the spotlight? I mean, it's nice to have attention, I think. It's nice to have a good ego, but it shouldn't be the bad thing.
Take it in healthy doses.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's hard to have an ego when I'm around you guys. Because, not as many
Same,
people know
same.
me, so.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
And you forfeit your spinners.
No.
Well, I think the thing is that it can also depend on how the person you're trying to, it's how each person carries themselves. I know there's this one thing at certain cons where they have this color-coded badge. If you have a certain color,
Yeah, the red, green, yellow one.
that matches your
That was such a good
personality.
idea.
It's green means, hey, yes, I'm free, come and talk to me. And then yellow is yeah, I'll talk to you, but only for a short bit. And then red is I'm in the middle of something, don't bother me.
Well, I'm just gonna have red because it's my favorite color.
But it just depends on how each person chooses to carry themselves. So at the end of the day, it's pretty much a wild card. So.
It is.
Well, it's also how other people carry them. Like, people carry us differently than they would carry, say, Michelle Creeper. Because, like, she's a voice actor of the show and known by almost everyone. Whereas not everybody knows the community. So they may be a lot more casual with some of them.
So
It's much easier, I think, to be casual with the community guests than I think it is with the show staff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
anybody else have any questions?
Any questions?
I think I saw your hand up, sir. No. You, sir.
What is this panel? I just got in from whose line?
It's Analysis 101.
Oh, okay. That's my
Oh,
question.
see, there's a little price check right there.
Lesson number 1, don't be us.
You can't compete with whose line is it anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Notice us, senpai!
Yeah, you can't combine with these guys acting like dorks versus other guys that act like other morons.
Trying to steal my shtick.
Yes, can I make another comment? Because I can relate with what Dr. Wolf has said about like the guy at it was you, Silver, wasn't it?
What was me?
It was about
All
the
right, I
bats.
admit
It was
it.
the bat story. It was the bat story. I've watched literally every single one of your videos, and some of them multiple times. I haven't watched all of your guys', but I go back and try to go through the list and stuff like that. So it's like I make an effort to become more familiar with your content. And it's like I understand that guy's opinion, but it's like I'm not going to just dismiss one because I haven't seen all the others.
Yeah.
And another you had mentioned about you just see yourself as funny. I value all of your opinions because, like you said, multiple sides, and I don't think you're just someone who's funny. You have made some great points. You have some amazing comments about different things, and it's always an interesting idea to get a different perspective.
Thank you.
There you go, yeah. I like that. Yes, you
Yes.
What would you say is your weakest quality?
Crap.
Great.
Something that you can
that's a
improve
good
on.
one.
I'd have to say my pride.
In what sense? Are you saying you're too prideful?
I
or not prideful?
have recently I have discovered that I have a very, very bad ego, and it's difficult for. It kind of came during a rough patch, and I realized that I just can't stand being wrong about anything, and that just kind of leads into a certain cycle. Like it's like I'm sick of being wrong. It's like why does everyone tell me that I'm wrong about everything? It's like I want to be right about something, but does that matter? Does being right really matter?
Yeah, even I admit I sort of struggle with that too. Like in the beginning, like especially like when Starlight came into the picture, I really had trouble really getting why people were so adamant on liking her when I found too many faults, and that led me to in part sort of becoming a little bit of a jerk to some select individuals, including some of my good friends, and that is a regret that I try not to repeat, and it's hard, it really is.
My weakest quality, I think, for a time was wondering where exactly do I fit in this community. And I didn't know whether or not if I had really gotten anywhere in it. I was wondering, well, where exactly do I stand in all of this? I
felt like you were stuck.
I felt like I was stuck, yeah. I felt like in this community, I was really, I think for a time, I was really trying to push myself to the next level. And I thought that there was like this glass ceiling, and I thought, why can't I be like them? What am I doing wrong here? Why am I not like them? And then I realized, why be that? Like, why strive to be someone that I'm not? I may not be able to be them,